everyone, Amanda here from Create with Scrimpingmommy. Thanks for joining me. So let's get to the point. Are you somebody that saves scraps? I make folios, albums, journals, and I use a lot of black cardstock. And I end up with heaps of scraps, okay? I'm going to show you several ways how you can turn this pile of scraps into functional items. So I save all of mine because cardstock's expensive in a plastic wallet and it's overflowing. I've got too many, it's becoming unmanageable. So I'm going to give you some ideas of what you can do with them. I feel a bit of a responsibility to those that follow along with my folio tutorials, etc. I know you're going to have scraps like me, so I'm going to help you solve that problem. I have to say that I have been massively inspired by Kathy Orter, who is Paper Phenomenon, who has several videos on her YouTube channel. Just type in Kathy, K-A-T-H-Y, Orter, O-R-T-A. She's like my idol. I love everything she does. Very inspiring. So I've got a lot of ideas from her. So the first thing that you want to do is sort through. And if you've got any long scraps, so these, I use 12 by 12. So if you've got any that are the full length of 12 by 12, save those, okay? They're excellent for making pockets, etc. All right, they'll make the full length pockets, because typically when we do folios, I do them about 7 inches wide by about 9. So you need to think, is that going to fit as a pocket? Yes, it will. So I'll save those. Okay, they're pristine. There's nothing wrong with them. I can make pockets. If they're slightly smaller, you can make belly bands. If they're wide and fat, a bit like me, like these, okay, and the significant sizes, these you can make pockets out of, you know, corner angled pockets, little tucks, things like that, okay? So dig out all of the significantly large ones, but obviously they're not large enough to make pages. So pick out all of the significantly large ones, put them by size, okay, and put them to one side. Tell yourself and remind yourself that they are there. Always go to your scraps before cutting into a new sheet of card. So then we're left with these kind of scraps, which are a lot smaller. So what you're going to do with them, I'm going to show you. Stay tuned. I'll move these to one side and I'll show you what I've made from my scraps. The first thing I do, and the most common sense thing to do, is make photo mats. So I have written the sizes on each of these, and these are your common photo sizes, but the mats are 1/4 inch larger so that you are going to be layering over. Okay, so if I show you this one, for example, that's what your photo mat looks like, and then you obviously cut in your paper 1/4 inch. So these are the sizes of the mats. Okay, so you've got 6 1/4 by 4 1/4, 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, 2 1/4 by 3 1/4, and 2 1/4 by 4 1/4. You can pause the video, okay, and write these measurements down. These are your go-to sizes for photo mats. So that obviously 6 1/4 by 4 1/4 would hold your 6 by 4 photo, etc, etc, etc. And I've got myself a lovely pile of photo mats ready for my next project, all done. I've got a lot at this size, so I'll have to make sure I use them. Okay, I will put them in. I'm going to actually see what I've already got in my craft room. I'll have some sort of little box or basket that I can stack these in size order, so that I can just grab them and they're good to go. Okay, so that's the first thing you want to be doing. Then if you've still got things remaining, here are some other ideas. Okay, so bob those to one side, my lovely pile of ready-made photo mats. Now I don't only make folios, I make journals, so you can also make tags. Okay, these are 3 by 5 tags. It's my favourite size of tag, so I can do my cardstock layer and then layer over with paper. I could collage on them, they're a perfect base. But tags, you can make your fantastic tags with your scraps as well. Okay, so if you remember my messy pile of scraps at the beginning, I am now getting myself a nice tidy pile of manageable and useful scraps. Okay, So those are for my long pockets, things like that, belly bands, okay? And I'll only save what I can hold in my hand. Because every time I make a folio, I know I'm going to get more scraps. So I don't need to save heaps and heaps and heaps. What I can hold in my hand, I'll save for now, and then I'll make sure I use them. Excuse me. And then moving forward, now I've sorted them, what I'll do is I will do this every time I make a folio. I'll put my scraps to one side. I won't just shove them in the folder and think I'll deal with them later. I will sit for 10 minutes and I will make more of these photo mats, tags, etc. I've got some other ideas. So another thing that I've done is I've punched some of the tabs. So whatever, if you've got a punch, or you can make them on your envelope punch board. There's lots of ways you can make these kind of tabs if you don't have this golden chalice that everybody loves. You can buy these punches on Amazon that are very similar. They're just not exactly the same. There's dies, there's all sorts, so you can do those. Check also, you know, have a look, see if there's anything you want to die cut. Maybe you've got small tag shapes or closure shapes, or, you know, hole enforcement shapes that it would be useful. You can cut those out as well, and if you put them in these little CD paper envelopes, it keeps them tidy, and that's another idea. Then I've also punched some circles, so I've done some at 1 inch and some at 1 1/4 inch. Brilliant way of using up the last remaining bits of scraps, and I use these for closures. If you've watched my videos, you've seen that I fold them in half. I put an eyelet in one half and glue the other half to the page, and I can make closures with that, or you can do your policy style closures with them. So circles, simple punched circles, are a fantastic way of using up your scraps, and you can literally use a scrap until there's nothing left. Okay, then what I do is I will save a small amount of smaller scraps. Okay, now if I want to be really pedantic, I can save little ones like this. So what would I use these for? So these smaller ones I will use to back your sentiments on them and cut them out. Or maybe you want to back an embellishment on black cardstock. So just get a small selection, not huge. I've kept a small selection because, again, as I'm making my folios and I'm cutting into my cardstock, I'm going to get more scraps, and we don't need to have piles and piles and piles of scraps because they're overwhelming, okay? And you end up not using them, and so if you get more focused with dealing with your scraps, it will make you more mindful to use them, okay? So we've got that, we've got the circles, we've got our larger pieces that we can use that are useful on our next folio, but not too many. So then once we've done all of this, I had that huge pile of scraps that I showed you, and I have kept a few to one side that I'm still going to punch some more circles out of, and this is literally what I've been left with. Okay, so now my folder is going to be more organised. Okay, these can go in the bin. You don't have to feel guilt about throwing that away. Okay, you know, if we want to do words, we've saved these. We don't need to save everything. That's how our craft rooms get messy and we get overwhelmed because we think we can't cope and we can't deal with it. Which might sound like an exaggeration, but it's true. So there you go. Those are ways of categorising and sorting your scraps. It won't take long. Don't spend forever categorising and sorting things because you're wasting time when you could be playing. You could be crafting. So there you go. There's several ideas of what to do with those pesky cardstock scraps. And now I can put these in my folder, okay, which is a 12 by 12 just plastic folder. All right, those are all in order. I'll put these in. Okay, I'll put that in, and I'll put that in. And now when I look at my scrap pile, I don't feel like, you know, I want to pull my hair out. That will shut nicely. Those scraps are organised and these are functional. So what you can do with these is, if you've got time, you could go and layer them with 1/4 inch smaller copier paper to give them a white background, or do them as you go, it's up to you. But this is all I've got left, okay? All I've got left is that, and that can go in the bin. So there's some ideas. Thank you to Kathy Orta for giving me a bit of a kick up the backside, and I hope that I can pass that on and give you a kick up the backside. And then you've got nice organised scraps, and how much more enjoyable is that going to be to sift through? And every time you make a folio, check these larger scraps first to see if you've got a size that fits. And every time you want to punch any more items or back an embellishment or a word, go to here. Thanks for watching. Hope it helps. Take care and I'll see you soon. Bye.